Tactical and dive watches have built formidable reputations for extreme durability, mission-critical reliability, and professional-grade performance under the harshest conditions imaginable. Their advertisements showcase bulletproof construction with specifications that seem military-tested and certifications that promise life-saving accuracy. The marketing emphasizes toughness and capability, making these watches appear like essential tools that deliver uncompromising performance when stakes are highest. But here's the truth that these brands don't want you to know. Not every tactical or dive watch lives up to its rugged reputation or justifies its premium asking price. Some watches look indestructible in photos but use cheap components, have disappointing real-world performance, or include features that fail when you need them most. Today, we're revealing 10 tactical and dive watches that look expensive online but fail to deliver actual value worth your investment. Number 10. Casio G-Shock Mudmaster. GG1001A 3JF Ultimate Toughness with mud resistance and triple sensor technology that sounds essential for outdoor adventures. The aggressive styling looks purpose-built, and the G-Shock reputation guarantees legendary durability and shock resistance. However, ownership reveals problems that make this watch disappointing compared to expectations set by the marketing and loyal fan base. The case is absolutely massive and wears much larger than specifications suggest, looking ridiculous on normal wrists entirely. The mud resistance feature requires awkward button guards that make operating the watch frustratingly difficult during actual use. The buttons are stiff and require excessive force to press, making simple functions annoying when wearing gloves outdoors. The analog-digital hybrid display is confusing and cluttered, making quick time checks difficult during activities when clarity matters. The digital displays are small with poor contrast, making them nearly impossible to read in bright sunlight outdoors. The compass function is poorly calibrated and unreliable, giving inaccurate readings that could be dangerous in wilderness navigation. The thermometer reads body temperature through wrist contact, making the reading useless for actual environmental temperature measurement. The resin case and strap feel cheap despite the premium pricing, with the material aging poorly and becoming sticky. The mineral crystal scratches easily despite the tough watch marketing claims about durability and scratch resistance. The negative display option is completely unreadable in anything except perfect lighting conditions, making it impractical entirely. The watch is so thick it catches on clothing constantly and makes wearing underjacket sleeves impossible. The backlight is weak and poorly distributed, creating dark spots that make nighttime reading difficult when needed most. The barometer function requires manual calibration constantly and provides readings that are less accurate than smartphone apps. The triple sensor features drain battery quickly, requiring frequent replacements, despite solar charging claims and marketing promises. Number 9. Casio G-Shock Frogman. GWF A1001A2JF. Professional diving capability with ISO certification and advanced features that sound impressive for underwater work. The titanium construction seems premium, and the asymmetric case looks distinctive with purpose-built tool watch aesthetic. However, serious problems exist that make this watch questionable value despite the prestigious Frogman name and specifications. The case is enormous and heavy despite titanium construction, wearing awkwardly and looking absurd with normal clothing. The asymmetric design is gimmicky, making the watch unbalanced on wrist and causing discomfort during extended wear. The crown is placed awkwardly on the left side, making operation difficult and unnatural for most users constantly. The digital displays are difficult to read with poor contrast and cluttered information that reduces legibility underwater when critical. The dive log functionality is buried in complicated menus, requiring multiple button presses to access basic features needed. The depth sensor is slow to update and provides readings that lag behind actual depth changes during diving. The Bluetooth connectivity is a useless gimmick that drains battery and provides no practical benefit for diving activities. The smartphone app is poorly designed with confusing interface that makes data review more frustrating than helpful. The solar charging is inadequate for the power-hungry features, causing the watch to die unexpectedly during dive trips. The bezel is digital rather than physical, removing the tactile backup timing system that divers rely on for safety. The resin case and strap deteriorate quickly from saltwater exposure despite the watch being designed for diving. The buttons require excessive force to operate, making adjustments underwater while wearing gloves nearly impossible constantly. The price is astronomical for a G-Shock, with the Frogman commanding luxury watch pricing for digital quartz technology. For the money, mechanical dive watches from established brands offer better build quality and more reliable performance throughout. Number 8. Casio G-Shock. GBD H1000-1A7 fitness tracking integration with G-Shock durability. That sounds perfect for athletic training and outdoor activities. The heart rate monitor seems useful, and the GPS functionality appears practical for runners and cyclists everywhere. However, this watch has significant problems that make it frustrating rather than functional during actual athletic use and training. The case is thick and heavy, making it uncomfortable during running and causing wrist fatigue during extended workouts. The heart rate sensor is inaccurate, providing readings that vary wildly compared to chest strap monitors and medical devices. The optical sensor requires extremely tight wearing, causing discomfort and leaving marks on wrist after exercise sessions. The GPS tracking drains batteries so quickly the watch becomes useless for long runs or multi-day hiking trips. The solar charging cannot keep up with the power-hungry GPS and heart rate features, making them impractical to use. The fitness metrics are basic and less accurate than dedicated fitness watches from Garmin or Polar brands. The smartphone connectivity is unreliable, with frequent disconnections that cause data sync failures and frustration constantly. The app is poorly designed, with limited functionality that makes reviewing workout data annoying rather than insightful. The watch is too bulky for everyday wear, making it single-purpose fitness device rather than versatile daily watch. The buttons are difficult to press during exercise when hands are sweaty, making mid-workout adjustments frustrating and imprecise. The digital display is difficult to read in bright sunlight, making outdoor training sessions challenging for visibility. The resin strap causes skin irritation during sweaty workouts and doesn't breathe adequately for athletic use. The watch tries to be both G-Shock and fitness tracker, but excels at neither, providing compromised experience overall. For the money, dedicated fitness watches offer superior tracking accuracy and better battery life with more comprehensive features. Number 7. Luminox Navy SEAL 3580 Series XS3583ND military-grade reliability with self-powered illumination that sounds impressive for tactical use. The Navy SEAL branding creates credibility, and the tritium tubes appear innovative for constant nighttime visibility everywhere. However, ownership reveals problems that make this watch disappointing compared to expectations set by military marketing claims. The case finishing is rough, with sharp edges and inconsistent surface treatment that looks cheap under examination. The tritium tubes are impressive initially but fade significantly over time, requiring expensive replacement after several years. The tube replacement costs hundreds of dollars, making the watch expensive to maintain beyond initial purchase price. The carbon case sounds advanced but feels cheap and hollow during wear, lacking the substance expected from tactical watches. The case is prone to cracking from impacts despite the military-tough marketing claims about durability and ruggedness. The mineral crystal scratches easily, which is unacceptable for a tool watch marketed for combat and field use. The movement is basic quartz with poor accuracy, requiring frequent adjustment to maintain reasonable precision during use. The date window uses basic white wheel that clashes aesthetically against the tactical dial styling, disrupting the design. The hands are poorly designed with inadequate contrast, making time reading difficult despite the tritium illumination features. The NATO strap is low quality that frays and fades quickly, looking terrible after minimal use and exposure. The strap hardware uses cheap materials that corrode quickly from salt water and sweat exposure during activities. The water resistance degrades rapidly, with seals failing after minimal exposure, making the rating essentially meaningless quickly. The Navy SEAL branding is licensing arrangement that adds premium pricing without actual military specification or approval. The watch is overpriced significantly, with the Navy SEAL name carrying the entire value proposition over actual quality. For the money, actual military-issued watches offer better build quality and proven reliability under real combat conditions. Number 6. Marathon Search and Rescue SAR dive watch with government contractor credentials that sound authentic and trustworthy. The Swiss-made tritium tubes seem professional, and the specifications appear serious for search and rescue operations. However, serious problems exist that make this watch questionable value despite the legitimate military connection and contractor status. The case finishing is basic and utilitarian, lacking any refinement or polish expected from Swiss-made military watches. The case is thick and heavy, making it uncomfortable for daily wear outside of actual duty requirements or operations. The tritium tubes are dimmer than Luminox offerings, providing inferior illumination despite the higher price point charged. The movement is basic quartz ETA with minimal features and no special military-grade modifications or improvements offered. The accuracy is mediocre, requiring frequent adjustment to maintain acceptable timekeeping despite Swiss movement marketing claims. The sapphire crystal is good, but the anti-reflective coating is weak, causing significant glare underwater during use. The NATO strap is basic quality without the durability expected from genuine military-issue equipment and specifications. The strap fades quickly from UV exposure, and the hardware corrodes from salt water despite maritime use claims. The crown is difficult to operate when wearing gloves, making field adjustments frustrating during actual operations constantly. The dial is busy with excessive markings, reducing legibility, making quick time checks difficult during emergencies when clarity matters. The date window is poorly integrated, disrupting the dial symmetry and using basic white wheel that clashes aesthetically. The bezel action is adequate but not exceptional, lacking the precision that professional dive watches should provide. The pricing is extremely high for what amounts to basic quartz watch with tritium tubes and minimal features. The government contractor status adds premium pricing without proportional quality increase over commercial alternatives available. For the money, commercial dive watches offer better value with superior features and more refined execution throughout. Number 5. Luminox XS3503 NSF. Navy SEAL Foundation. C-Series promises charitable contribution with tactical dive watch capability that sounds appealing. The foundation branding creates emotional connection, and the blue dial appears distinctive with professional specifications offered. However, this watch represents poor value with execution problems that make the premium pricing unjustifiable for quality delivered. The foundation collaboration is marketing gimmick with minimal actual donation percentage going to the charity organization involved. The premium pricing is based on charitable branding rather than actual watch quality or feature improvements offered. The carbon case feels cheap and hollow, lacking the substance expected from professional dive watches entirely. The tritium tubes fade quickly, requiring expensive replacement that costs significant percentage of original purchase price repeatedly. The case is prone to cracking from normal impacts despite the military-tough marketing claims about durability. The mineral crystal is inadequate for dive watch scratching easily and lacking the durability sapphire provides. The movement is basic quartz with poor accuracy and no special features justifying the premium pricing charged. The bezel action is loose and imprecise with excessive play that makes accurate dive timing impossible and unreliable. The bezel insert uses printed markings that fade quickly from UV exposure, looking terrible after minimal use. The rubber strap is uncomfortable, causing skin irritation during extended wear and attracting dirt constantly during use. The strap quality is poor, degrading quickly from salt water and UV exposure despite dive watch marketing claims. The clasp is basic and uncomfortable without proper diving extension for wearing over wetsuits during operations. The dial is cluttered with excessive branding and markings, reducing legibility, making quick-time checks difficult underwater. The date window is poorly placed and uses basic white wheel, disrupting the blue dial aesthetic completely. The water resistance rating is adequate, but the actual build quality makes trusting the watch at depth anxiety-inducing. Number 4, Rolex Submariner Automatic 16610 promises ultimate luxury dive watch with legendary heritage and iconic status that seems unquestionable. The Rolex name guarantees prestige, and the specifications appear professional with proven reliability over decades. However, serious problems exist that make this watch questionable value despite the brand reputation and overwhelming popularity everywhere. The case finishing is good but not exceptional compared to haute horlogerie brands at similar price points offering superior polish. The ceramic bezel insert is prone to cracking from impacts despite the marketing claims about improved durability over aluminum. The bezel action becomes loose with wear and saltwater exposure, requiring expensive servicing to restore precision needed. The movement is reliable but basic compared to modern competition lacking innovations and offering short power reserve. The accuracy is adequate but not exceptional, with kiosk certification being minimum standard rather than impressive achievement. The movement finishing visible through closed caseback is basic Rolex standard without elaborate decoration or haute horlogerie refinement. The bracelet is good quality, but the glide lock extension is prone to failure and becoming loose during wear. The clasp shows wear quickly, with the polished surfaces scratching easily and looking terrible after minimal use. The bracelet links develop play quickly, causing rattling that makes the watch feel less refined during wear. The Cyclops date magnifier is polarizing design element that many find ugly, and it scratches easily, ruining aesthetics. The printed dial indices and hands are basic compared to competitors offering more elaborate applied markers and finishes. The lume is adequate but not exceptional compared to modern dive watches offering superior brightness and duration. The pricing is astronomical and inflated by artificial scarcity, with waiting lists being dealer games rather than actual demand. The gray market premium adds thousands over retail for watches readily available, making secondary market questionable. The Rolex premium is based largely on brand prestige rather than proportional quality increase over competitors available. For the money, other luxury brands offer superior movements, better finishing, and more innovative features without the pretense. The Submariner has become investment vehicle and status symbol rather than actual tool watch for diving purposes. Number 3, Garmin Tactix Delta Solar, GPS tactical smartwatch. Functionality with solar charging that sounds cutting edge for tactical operations. The specifications seem impressive with comprehensive features, and the tactical branding appeals to military and law enforcement users. However, this watch has serious problems that make it frustrating rather than functional during actual field use and operations. The smartwatch platform means constant software updates and bugs that make the watch unreliable during critical missions. The touchscreen is difficult to operate when wearing gloves, making the watch impractical for actual tactical field use. The battery life is poor despite solar charging requiring frequent recharging that makes extended operations impossible without power. The GPS tracking is power-hungry, draining battery quickly and making the solar charging essentially useless for real missions. The tactical features are gimmicky apps that provide minimal actual utility for real military or law enforcement work. The night vision compatibility is marketing theater, with the watch screen still being too bright during covert operations. The case is plastic composite that feels cheap and scratches easily despite the military-tough marketing claims throughout. The watch is thick and heavy, making it uncomfortable during extended wear and causing wrist fatigue during operations. The buttons are poorly designed and difficult to press when wearing gloves, making field operation frustrating constantly. The smartwatch features become obsolete, quickly requiring expensive upgrades to maintain functionality and compatibility with phones. The proprietary charging cable is required, making the watch useless if cable is lost during field operations. The smartphone connectivity is required for many features, making the watch dependent on phone rather than standalone tool. The tactical features are software-based rather than hardware, making them vulnerable to glitches and failures during critical moments. The watch collects extensive data, creating security concerns for military and law enforcement users during operations. For the money, traditional tactical watches offer better reliability without the complexity and dependence on technology that fails. Number 2, Timex Ironman Classic 50. The Ironman Classic 50 promises upgraded sports watch functionality with 50-lap memory that sounds useful for serious training. The digital display appears functional, and the affordable price seems attractive for athletic training watch purposes. However, this watch fails to deliver value with execution problems that make it frustrating for even basic training use. The resin case feels cheap and brittle, with the material degrading quickly from UV exposure, becoming sticky and gross. The resin band is extremely uncomfortable, causing skin irritation and rashes during any extended athletic wear constantly. The band retaining loops break within days, requiring constant replacement or dealing with loose excess strap flapping. The digital display is difficult to read in bright sunlight, with poor contrast making outdoor training sessions frustrating. The display angles are poor, making the watch only readable when viewed straight on, reducing glance visibility entirely. The backlight is weak and blue-tinted, providing inadequate illumination for nighttime running or training sessions. The 50-lap memory sounds impressive, but the interface is confusing and terrible, making data review completely pointless. The chronograph functions are buried in complicated menus requiring multiple button presses to access during workouts. The buttons are mushy with terrible tactile feedback, making operation during exercise imprecise and annoying throughout. The alarm beep is irritating and loud, but cannot be customized, making the watch embarrassing in public settings. The water resistance degrades quickly, with seals failing after minimal exposure to chlorine or salt water completely. The battery life is poor, requiring frequent replacement despite being basic digital quartz watch with minimal features. The Ironman branding is licensing arrangement, adding no actual value to the watch quality or performance offered. The watch has become lowest common denominator sports watch that's essentially disposable after one training season. For slightly more money, actual sports watches from running brands offer superior functionality and dramatically better quality. Number 1. Citizen BJ2169D08E ProMaster Diver. A watch that promises professional diving capability with ISO certification and eco-drive technology that sounds perfect for underwater adventures. The affordable luxury positioning seems attractive, and the specifications appear serious for recreational diving purposes. However, this represents the worst value, with execution problems that make even basic diving use questionable and concerning. The case finishing is rough, with visible machining marks and inconsistent surface treatment throughout that looks cheap. The bezel action is loose and imprecise, with excessive play that makes accurate dive timing impossible and dangerous. The bezel becomes even looser with wear and saltwater exposure, requiring expensive servicing to restore any precision. The mineral crystal is completely inadequate for professional dive watch scratching within days and lacking durability needed. The crystal flexes under pressure, creating anxiety about its integrity at depth during actual diving operations. The lume application is weak and inconsistent, glowing unevenly, with some indices bright while others remain frustratingly dark. The eco-drive charging is problematic because dive watches spend significant time underwater away from light sources, causing power loss. The watch requires constant direct sunlight, or it stops unexpectedly during dive trips, ruining the entire purpose. The eco-drive battery capacitor degrades over time, requiring expensive replacement that costs significant percentage of purchase price. The bracelet is terrible, with hollow links that feel cheap and rattle annoyingly during any movement constantly. The clasp is uncomfortable with sharp edges and lacks proper diving extension for wearing over wet suits. The end links have excessive gaps, allowing the watch to move around, looking unrefined and feeling unstable. The ISO certification is minimum standard rather than impressive achievement, with the watch barely meeting requirements. The actual build quality makes trusting the watch at rated depth anxiety-inducing and potentially dangerous during dives. The crown seals degrade quickly, requiring frequent servicing to maintain water resistance ratings claimed by manufacturer.